The Pistons had, well, no, the past week, I should say. It was, it wasn't the best week. It wasn't terrible. They didn't, you know, get destroyed, but it wasn't the best week. So last week, they knocked the doors off the Wizards. Okay, we're feeling good. Then Thursday, you play the Wizards again. And I thought, all right, double dip. No, we actually lose to the Wizards by 2 possessions, 129 to 125. And then Saturday happened. And this was the game to, I guess, that sort of set the world of the NBA on fire in terms of officiating, in terms of just the kind of a team that the Pistons are. Either way, let's just jump into it right here, right now. So the Pistons lose the game, but it wasn't just the fact that they lost the game. I went into the game, I said, okay, I'm willing to write this. This is a team loss, right? The thing about this was the Pistons got multiple technicals. I believe they got a total of 5 technicals. And the Pistons superstar player, Cade Cunningham, gets ejected from the game after his second technical. And I gotta tell you, I was watching the game and I left the room because I was going to take a shower because I don't know, I was like, okay, this game feels like it's kind of over. So I'm gonna go take a shower and come back and see what happens. I come back and Cade's getting ejected. And I'm like, what did he do? Like what even happened? Apparently, he was getting a little snippy. He had said some sort of profanity of some kind to the referee. Referee didn't like it. Throw him out the game. Now, here's my general rule. Okay. In general, a player should not really be thrown out of a game unless he is completely out of control. Yeah, we're talking Ron Artest slash, Isaiah Stewart trying to kill LeBron James. Those are the circumstances in which players should be thrown out of the game. When clearly it has gone beyond competitive fire, it has gone beyond, just I guess even a little harsh conversation, a little crude language. When a player starts getting violent with officials, with coaches, with other players, with teammates, all right, you're done. We got to shut it down because you're out of control. A player getting mad at officiating should never result in a technical. Short of you like trying to beat up the referee, you expressing your dissatisfaction with the call. I'm sorry, if you're a referee, welcome to the job. Every player is upset that he did not get a call. Every single one. I've never seen a player get a call and say, "Oh, well, that's a good call, ref. That's right." Like it doesn't matter the sport, whether it's football, whether it's basketball, whether it's hockey. Every time a player gets penalized, they're upset with the referee. So for you as the referee to say, "Oh, how dare you suggest that what I called is not right? How dare you're out of the game. You're out of line." When frankly, a lot of the time, it is the case that the referee gets it wrong. Now, this led into a much deeper discussion because after the game, JB Bickerstaff went on one of the all-time great coaching rants, and he solidified himself as a Detroit staple. He's locked in. He knows what it's like. And I don't have the exact quotes, but he said that the referees were simply not respecting us. They were not respecting us. They're getting the calls to the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are the #1 team in the West with a superstar in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's a fantastic player. They're something of a darling in the league. I wouldn't say they're totally a darling team, but they're a high echelon team. They get the calls. The Pistons, they don't get the calls. And Bickerstaff made a point, and I think this was the point that I really remembered, was we should be officiated just like everybody else in the league. And he's tired of it. He's tired of this kind of thing. And this is not exclusive to the Pistons. Obviously, other teams get screwed. Even really good teams will get screwed with bad calls. However, and again, maybe this is just your old Detroit sports fan getting into the Homer rant of everybody's against us. But allow me to just, paint the picture with some stats, all right, for the Pistons. All right. The big numbers, the Pistons are the 11th team in points per game, 115 points a game. above average, almost top 10. They're ninth in rebounds per game. That is top 10. They're 14th in assists per game, a little above average, and they're 14th in opponent points per game. Again, a little above average. In general, they're an above average team. Currently, they're 38 and 31, sixth in the East. Looking at the overall numbers on the year, they are a 35 or 36% three-point shooting team. They shoot 77% from the free throw line. In general, they're a good team. And I think it's foolish for the NBA, for media writ large, to act as though this Pistons team is just a bunch of scrubs or just a bunch of losers or just a bunch of guys playing out of their mind. Because it's a lot more than that. Okay? It's like a lot of this kind of disrespect comes from the fact, and this is just true, and you can say, oh, well, it's not true in this case, or you can, people have reason. Every time the Pistons have been good, they have been slandered in some way. Whether it's the media or the rest of the NBA or whomever, just not taking them seriously. This has been a thing. When the Pistons were really good in the 80s and 90s with the Bad Boys. Now, in retrospect, people look back and say, wow, the Bad Boys, one of the great NBA teams, a mini dynasty, should have been a dynasty, got screwed by the Lakers in that series with the phantom foul on Bill Laimbeer. But again, it's like that happened in 1988, 1987, around that time. And we're still dealing with this sort of thing. I mean, Bill Laimbeer is not getting into the Hall of Fame. Why? Because people hate him. That's basically the reason. Now, I'm not saying he's absolutely a Hall of Fame player, but you compare him to some of the players that did get in, and the fact that he's not in is kind of ridiculous. With that all being said, you even fast forward to the going to work Pistons in the early 2000s. How many teams can you say, year in and year out, were basically guaranteed to make the Eastern Conference Finals? Basically every year. I mean, you can go back. You can look at the basketball references. It was like, 03, lost in the conference finals. 04, won the finals. 05, lost the finals. 06, lost the conference finals. 07, lost the conference finals. 08, lost the conference. If basically every year you're in the same echelon as, the Lakers at the time or the Celtics, and you're basically seen as like, oh, well, it's just the Pistons. It's just Chauncey Billups who ended up being in the Hall of Fame. Or, oh, it's just Ben Wallace who also ended up being in the Hall of Fame. And, of course, all of this is just the icing on the cake that right now you have Shaquille O'Neal. And I didn't want to talk about this, but because of the disrespect to the referees, I feel like I have to. Shaquille O'Neal on national television, a national basketball analyst, an NBA, if you will. I didn't even realize that I was doing that. But he is a national voice for the league. And what does he have to say about the Pistons? Oh, I really like what Chauncey's doing over there. I think Chauncey's doing a great job. Now, unless Shaq thinks it's the year 2004, in which he got his behind handed to him by Chauncey Billups, Chauncey Billups isn't really doing much for the Pistons right now. In fact, he's doing basically nothing for the Pistons. The only time Chauncey Billups is doing anything for the Pistons, it's when he's coaching the Portland Trail Blazers to a loss against the Pistons. That's pretty much the only time Chauncey is doing anything. So, first it's, I didn't know the coach. Now, look, I commentate on sports. I host a sports talk show. Do I know the coach of every single NBA team? No. Do I pretend to know the coach of every single NBA team? No. Shaquille O'Neal, on the other hand, seemingly does. Now, right in that moment, Candace Parker, credit to her, she pointed out, Chauncey Billups is not the coach. It's JB Bickerstaff. And of course, because Shaquille O'Neal can never be wrong, what does he say? Oh, I don't even watch the Pistons. And this all encapsulates the referee issue, the media issue. The Pistons are just the black sheep of the NBA. It's one thing to say, I don't know, the Memphis Grizzlies. I use them as an example a lot. They're actually a pretty good team this year. But it's one thing to use the Memphis Grizzlies or the Charlotte Hornets or the Brooklyn Nets even. You know, some of these teams that, frankly, and I'm just being honest, haven't won anything ever and have largely, for most of the time they've existed, been garbage organizations who have made terrible trades, terrible free agent signings, never won anything meaningful, okay? It's one thing for those teams to not get the level of focus and the level of attention and the level of respect that they deserve, right? Obviously, every team, every year, you take it 1 year at a time. Understood. It's another thing if seemingly every time the Pistons are good, and again, you go back, nobody picked the Pistons to win in 2004. And I don't think a lot of people picked the Pistons to win in 89 either, or really most of those years. And once again, we're doing the same thing. Nobody picking the Pistons. Now, again, do I think the Pistons this year are an NBA Finals contender? No, I don't think so. I mean, you're sixth in the East. You're not the Cavaliers. You're not the Celtics. You're not even, the Bucks or the Pacers right now. But are they just nobodies? No. For one, they're a really exciting and fun team to watch, which is a lot more you can say about some of these other bigger market teams. But of course, for whatever reason, the Pistons have found themselves as underdogs. And you know what? After seeing last night's blowout win over the Pelicans, it might have just lit a fire under them. Now, a look ahead at the schedule here down the stretch, because we're getting close here to the very end. The Pistons got a national TV game on the road against Miami this week. Okay? That game got flexed. So the media, for all the slander I just gave them, they're saying, okay, Pistons, all right, you think you're good? You think you're hot? We'll put you on ESPN. We'll put you on the national stage, 7:30, Miami, a team that is on a downward spiral, but on the road. Let's see what you can do. After that, you go on the road to Dallas, and that, I don't need to tell you about what's going on with Dallas. Then you come back home to take on the Pels and the San Antonio Spurs. You got a 1, 2, 3, 4 game stretch. All 4 of those games are winnable. If you can go 4-0, 3-0, or 3-0, 3-1 in that stretch, I think you would continue to get the league's attention. And you remain right there in the standings, by the way. You remain just 1 game out, just 1 game behind the Indiana Pacers and the Milwaukee Bucks. A team in the Milwaukee Bucks that you will still have to play twice before the year ends. So, look, if the refs want to disrespect us by not giving us the call, fine. If the media, and namely Shaquille O'Neal, wants to disrespect the Pistons, fine. We'll just show you on the court. And I do think that this Pistons team is certainly a team that can win at least a playoff series. And potentially, if you let them get hot, if you let them feel like they're getting disrespected, they'll punch you in the mouth. They're not going to give away easy games. I mean, I don't really remember the last time the Pistons got just blown out. Maybe the Nuggets game. That game got kind of out of hand. They didn't get blown out to the Thunder. They didn't get blown out to the Wizards. Well, granted, not exactly a loss you want to take anyway. They didn't get blown out to the Warriors. They didn't get blown out to the Clippers. The last time they really got blown out again was that Nuggets game. So, if any team matches up with the Pistons, I do think the Pistons have a chance, regardless. Hi, it's me again. If you enjoyed what you just saw, hit the like and subscribe button. We do live shows every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you there.